this is a review of the Belkin micro USB cable that you see here. So it's basically a USB to micro USB cable that you can use to plug into your smartphone or other devices that take that connection. So like I said, it is a USB to micro USB that is also 6 feet in length. So you should be able to use it for nearly anything. It's often billed as a charging cable because you're going to find the micro connection on most of your phones out there. So this is what you get. It comes in a box, looks like you see here. And on the back, unlike some clamshells, you don't have to cut it all the way around. It actually has a little punch out that you can use to get easy access to it. And out of the box, this is what you get here. It's a standard USB cable that you'd expect. You got your two connections that you're looking for here. You have your USB and your micro USB connection. Compared to my existing micro USB cable for my smartphone, we can look at the differences between this new one from Belkin as well. So the obvious difference, first of all, it's 6 feet versus this one's smaller than 6 feet. This one's a little bit thicker, at least in terms of the plastic covering that we have on it. We'll be able to see the comparisons in the thickness of the cable. Again, this is the Belkin one on the left. This is my existing one on the right. So we can see the thickness difference there. And then let's look at the actual connector differences. You'll notice that similarly that the Belkin one has thicker connectors overall in terms of the plastic that surrounds it. So let's compare the two micro connections that we have here. So I'll keep the new Belkin one on the left and my existing smartphone cable micro USB on the right. So you can see the difference in the size of the two connectors. Again, my existing one on the right and the Belkin on the left. So my existing one is a little bit smaller and more nimble. This one might be a little more heavy duty in terms of plastic connections and give you something to hang on to. So those are those connections. Let's take a look at the USB connections as well. So again, the Belkin cable, the new one is on the left, my existing one is on the right. So you'll see overall the plastic pieces of the connections are bigger on the Belkin compared to on the right. The connections themselves seem pretty much identical other than color from what I can tell between these. My Nokia Lumia cable on the right for charging and the Belkin one on the left here. But the connectors themselves are going to be pretty much identical. Connected here to my smartphone, you'll see that it is about the width of my Nokia Lumia 910 as well. But it hangs on pretty firmly as well, but it's not too thick. It's just about as thick as it could be. It's not a problem when sitting on a desk. It's not like it's rocking on this one specifically. You'll see it hangs on, pretty well. I can pull it off. I think being newer, the springs are a little bit tighter. So you see those little nubs down here? I think that's what's hanging on to the phones, and those are in a new cable are going to be a little extra tight. So it's a little bit tighter than my existing cable, but not too tight. I've had some other micro USB cables that seem too tight at first, but it connects to my smartphone just fine. Make sure you actually need a micro USB connection so you get the right cable. This is a micro USB 2.0, not to be confused with the very similar sized mini USB 2.0 connector that we see here. Let me hold these up side by side. So again, we're reviewing the cable on the right here this time, the Belkin micro USB 2.0, and this is the mini USB 2.0, and you can see how similar they are. So when you go to look at your device, you can take a look. So this is my Nokia Lumia 910. That is a micro USB connection, and I have a Harmony remote here that takes a mini USB connection. So this is a mini, this is a micro, and we just saw the two ends there. And of course there's other kinds of cables out there just not to be confused with, so you're in the entirely wrong ballpark if you're looking at one of these connections. This is your standard old Type B port for a standard USB 2.0 cable that you used for printers and webcams and stuff like that in the past, and not to be confused with other ones out there. This is a USB 3 connection here. Blue means USB 3, but here is the back end connector for peripherals on the USB 3. So again, we're reviewing the micro, not to be confused with the mini or USB 3 or the standard one. And hopefully you'll find that the cable works for you if it's the right cable for the port that you have. Well, there you have it. It's a micro USB cable that's 6 feet in length. It works fine for me, other than the connectors being a little bit larger than I would have expected compared to some of my existing cables. Some people might consider it a positive that they're a bit thicker and bulkier that you can grab onto. Remember, it's just the connectors. But other than that, I mean, it's a digital cable. It should work just fine, and as long as you need micro USB, I think it's good to go. Thanks for watching the review.